In this video, we'll be doing a cast testing session with the new Loongze Airlite Bait Finesse reel, the purple one. A lot of folks want to know how low this size 34mm spool reel can go, so we're going to put it on an ultralight setup. I have an ultralight rod from Tsurinoya. This is the Clever, the C522 ultralight, rated down to 1 gram. I will have 130 feet of 0.4 go. This is Major Craft Dangan X4, very fragile line, and we're gonna go and see how low this thing could go. I honestly feel like this reel here is probably better on a light tackle rod and a medium light due to the larger spool, but I'm sure everyone is interested just to see how low this thing could go right out the box. So with that said, let's get to the water. All right, fam, we are ready to do some cast testing, and I have the lightest lure in my box, and I don't think I could do this because first and foremost, a lot of my reels, in order to cast this lightest lure out here, the 0.44 gram ice fishing jig, right, from VMC, you have to have the lightest spool, and this is not that light, okay? It's not made for that, and it's okay. You know, that is a niche fishing style, and I don't even fish that way. I just portray just to see how low a reel could go, okay? So anyway, we are at max brakes here. We also have the lowest brake setting for the inside cup, and we're gonna cast this. And note that I do have a lot of line here. I have about 130 feet of 0.4 go. So it's thin, it's thin. I have 4-pound leader material, so we're gonna cast this now. Yeah, I had to compensate for it to come out even that far and accurate, but I overspooled, okay? I could probably change the brakes and give it a shot again, but so far it's not coming out accurate, and I got leaf. So this is what we'll do. We're gonna open up the side plate here, and we're gonna put this in right slap in the middle. Okay, I like to do my testing usually in the middle. So 1, 2, and that is exactly in the middle. So we're gonna do this again. I'm gonna leave at max brakes. It's gonna be stronger braking, so hopefully we may not backlash. But it's very interesting. Very interesting setup. All right, let's go. And it goes to the left. So yeah, this reel can't handle this super light lure. So we're gonna move on to a heavier one. We're gonna move on to the Trout Magnet. Let's go. The moment of truth with the Trout Magnet. 0.78 gram lure, and it's going to the left. So you definitely can't cast with this using the stock spool, stock bearing, right? Well, stock spool, this is probably the lightest spool they have, right? But yeah, if they have micro bearings, maybe, because it is coming out. It's coming out relatively fast. You have to compensate to get in front of you. So I think there is potential, even though this is a over 6 gram spool. Yeah, like the compensation compared to the other one, this is not bad. Like if you compensate and cast and you get this far, I feel like eventually with the micro bearings, I can get this out. So it's really exciting. I'm gonna lower the brakes a little bit, and it's actually getting a little better, but it's over spooling. So yeah, I think if y'all interested, I'll figure out what the bearing sizes are, and I'll get some micro bearings on this and see how low really go with micro bearings. But typically, I feel like with a spool this light, I probably don't need a micro bearings for my fishery. So with that said, I'm gonna up it a little bit to the weights that I typically use and see how well this reel behaves. But right now, I'll say that this reel here can't really do the Trout Magnet without compensation out of the box. All right, one of the deadliest combo wombo you could ever use for BFS anglers, especially if you're fishing ponds or you're fishing small streams for trout, heck, even streams that people stock, okay? And that is this guy right here, the Ultralight EPF Swim. This is a 1-inch swim bait, and I have it rigged on their soft lock tungsten jig head. This is their 1/32 ounce jig, size 6 hook, and approximately weight for this combo wombo here is 1.33 grams. So let's give this a shot. I'm gonna actually straighten my rod just a little bit. There we go. And behold, I am casting out at pretty good, okay distance. Accuracy for a soft cast like that. So we are gonna increase the brakes just a little bit. I was at 6, by the way, inside 3. And now we're gonna flick this. Oh yeah, oh, this a little bit over spooling. My timing was off. I was just amazed. So let me fix this, and we'll do a few more times, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Accuracy is there. Wow. Yeah, this is nice. This is nice. And let's just count the number of cranks, shall we? 1, 2, 18, 19, and almost 20 cranks. Not bad, not bad at all. All right, the next lure I'm gonna throw is gonna be the Euro Tackle Z Viber. This is their micro one, and this one weighs 1.5 grams. So let's give this a shot. Once again, I am break 3 inside, and right now I am 2 clicks above 6. In fact, that was what I was using earlier for the EPS swim. So let's play around with this. I think I could lower the brakes for that later, but it kind of went to the left a little bit. You guys saw that? So that's interesting. The EPF was okay a second ago. Let me do a few more casts. I feel like I was using more of a flick cast earlier, which is pretty accurate for the lighter lures. And a second one, I did more of a roll cast. So let me do another roll cast for a second. Yeah, I realized that if I'm doing a roll cast, like my normal typical roll cast with this short rod here, I feel like it's not going out as accurate compared to a flick cast. So that's pretty interesting. But if I'm just doing a back and forth, that's okay distance. That is okay. But let's lower the brakes down a little bit. Let's go to like 6 and let's do another cast and see if it changes the behavior. All right, that is it's going off fast, and I am over spooling a little bit, but I didn't really need feather in the beginning. So I'm gonna lower it just a little bit more, and I think I could achieve some good distance with this. 2 clicks under 6. Ready? Okay, so there is the overspooling happens near the end of the cast, right before I touch the water. But in the beginning, it's okay, especially with that cast. So it's kind of interesting. Let's do it one more time. All right, so that's better. So I think I don't want to go lower than that. And once again, that was 2 clicks under 6. Let's just count the amount of cranks that I casted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 24. Almost 25 cranks, which is not bad for a reel like this with such a heavier spool. And you know, if you put micro bearings, I am sure you can cast this really, really easy. And yeah, I think I'm gonna explore the heavier side because this is a pretty much larger spool than some of the other Bait Finesse stuff. Like the trend right now, the Bait Finesse reels, they are going with the 28mm diameter spool. This one right here, it looks like it's larger. And yeah, I'm hoping that if I put some thicker line on it, I could do some like power finesse fishing too. So this is gonna be very, very interesting. But yeah, let's jump over to a larger lure. Let's jump to the 2 gram levels. All right, folks, the next lure I'm gonna throw is a 2.66 gram combo wombo, and this is my favorite all time. And this is a 1/16 ounce jig head with a 2-inch swim bait, 2.66 grams. So I'm gonna put the brakes at 6 for the external, and again, it's still at 3 in the internal. And let's go. All right, so that's not bad distance, especially using a short rod. I'm gonna cast a little harder this time. It's pretty nice. There's a little bit overspooling because I messed up the timing, but I feel like it does still spins really, really fast near the end of the cast, just like the previous one. So it's interesting, very interesting reel. All right, so there you go. And let's count the amount of cranks for this lure here. 1, 2, 3, 29. A little bit over 29 cranks. So this is not bad. I think if I had a longer rod, I would have a lot of fun. Woo. This would be super duper fun. All right, the last lure I'm gonna throw is gonna be the Z-Man shad fries on their new 1/16 ounce jig head. They're shad heads. And the total weight here is 2.92 grams. Since this is the heaviest, I'm gonna ensure that I'm gonna cast lightly first, just in case it flies. And yeah, as you saw, it did backlash right there. I feel like, just like the previous statement, the spool seems to spin pretty fast right before the lure even hits the water. Like, I felt like I timed it right. But yeah, this is very interesting. And I gotta be very, very careful fixing this super thin line from Major Craft. It's very, very fragile, so I'm not pulling hard. I'm just gonna take my time. And once I fix it, let's go take a look. And as you fix the line, especially since I got this much line out, I wanna make sure that it's aligning properly. That's something I should look more often in my reels. Because when I was doing some cast testing, I realized the Geki Bijin with the raWr spool, it was not really going too straight most of the time. And I think maybe that reel was just designed that way because they have a narrow spool. But I'm looking at this, and so far my line looks beautiful. All right, and this is super thin line, so maybe it'll behave a little different with thicker line. I don't know, but so far so good. But I'm gonna put the brakes up like 2 clicks over 6. One more cast, and that's a lot better this time. A lot better. So yeah, with this short rod here, the distance-wise, I think it's pretty acceptable range. Now, if you guys want to see me throw some lures on a longer ultralight rod or a longer, let's say a light rod, light power rod, leave me a comment below. Like if you're interested just seeing how far this reel could go, not on an ultralight, a short ultralight rod, you gotta let me know. So there you have it, my cast testing session. I feel like this reel here is really good on ultralight, casting down to 1.3 grams. Unfortunately, it can't do a Trout Magnet, but it may have potential if one were to upgrade their spool bearings to ceramic hybrid micros, which I have zero intentions in doing so because I feel like this reel here is fantastic for what it could do. And since it's a 34mm spool, I'll be using this reel mainly on a light tackle rod and also a medium light powered rod. I want to talk about the overspooling portion of this cast testing session. You see, this is a relatively big spool. It's size 34mm and it's heavier than some of the lighter spools for ultralight fishing. So when you cast light lures, right, with the hard cast, what happened is the lure flies out, but because the light lures doesn't have the momentum, it actually drops pretty quickly. But with a spool that's over 6 grams, what is happening is with the momentum of the spool, it's continuing to spin, and therefore, even at the tail end of the cast, the spool is overspooling the line. And the solution was actually pretty simple. All you had to do was just turn up the brakes in the inner dial. I found that 4 works the best for me, but you can always max it and use 5, and that still works pretty well. This is why for the super ultralight bait casters out there, they like to use 28mm spools because one, obviously it's lighter. You know, there's spools down to 3 grams, which is insane, right? And then with the smaller diameter spool, it's dispensing less line per rotation. Therefore, it's a lot easier to manage, especially if you're casting light lures at short distances. So with that said, I am really not too keen of upgrading this reel anymore. I'm just gonna use that as is and for heavier tackle fishing. So if y'all want to see Jimbo fish this on light and medium light power rods for this season, definitely want to stay tuned. If y'all have any questions about this reel, feel free to leave me a comment below. If you really want to see me upgrade this reel to ceramic hybrid bearings and do some testing, well, this is your opportunity to tell me. I got to see overwhelming amount of comments telling me that you want to see that, and also a lot of thumbs up. If not, it's not happening. All right. Sorry. Schedule is really bad lately, especially with the kid getting a lot older. So gotta do a lot of daddy duties. So, but anyway, I do thank y'all for watching this video. The fish don't wait. If y'all want to get this Dragon Ball, this purple Dragon Ball, y'all know where to get it. If you don't, well, the details are in the description below. So peace out. Thank you for watching.